You're listening to the Chronicles of Living podcast, where we talk to everyday people about everyday things in the past, present, and future. Now let's talk.
Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop on the road of life. You can't stop. You can't stop moving. Keep move. Keep that pace. You switching to gear. Let's go as we climb up the hill. Don't slow down. Pedal a little more. The mind is working. It's in control. Your wheels are turning a little more. Going higher another notch. Keep it steady, don't watch the clock. Go round, cycle. Life is a cycle.
Greetings, my visionary dreamers. How is everybody doing on Let's Talk Sundays? Man, I miss talking to y'all guys and my regular energy. Listen up.
We are learning, always turning later. Cannot stop the time. Always merging into lanes that better suit us as we ride. Switch it up. Switching to gear, let's go. As we climb up the hill, don't slow down. Pedal a little more. The mind is working, it's in control. Your wheels are turning a little more. Going higher another notch. Keep it steady, don't watch the clock. Go round, cycle.
This is Adionne, your dream pusher, your lifeguard, saving you from the world, saving you from yourself, saving you from drowning in some real bull-ish. And you are listening to Chronicles of Living podcast show, the show for everyday people doing everyday things, living everyday life. You know us normal folks, doing a damn thing the best way we can. Yes, and today I am so back, y'all. I just feel amazing. My detox is over, and I just feel like a new me. I feel like a superhero, and that's what we're talking about today. It is time for you to find the superhero in you. That's what I want y'all to do today. Find a superhero in you. We all have a superhero. I guess mine is Adionne, your dream pusher. That's my superhero right now. That's the cape I'm wearing right this minute, you know. And I enjoy it. I enjoy being a dream pusher and pulling out the potential in people, encouraging folk, and motivating folk to do the damn thing. I get so much joy out of that. It's like I could be having a day that I would say I'm unsure about, and then run across someone or talk to someone that need a word of encouragement or motivation, and then all of a sudden my whole day just changed. It's like, the sun just comes out and I feel so good. And I think that, I know that once we can all get to that point of embracing the superhero within us, it will change a lot of things in our life. It'll change the way we feel about ourselves. It'll change the way we do things, because we're doing it with this excitement, And that's a good thing. When you think about all these superhero movies that's been out throughout the years, the comic books, I mean, look how long they have lasted. Even us as adults, we will go see a good superhero movie. We will play video games. We're adults, but yet we'll get caught up in video games. I'm not a video game person so much as I used to be. I guess I just don't find the time to get into it. But even little games like Candy Crush, you still crushing something. I think that game is a stress reliever, and I think that's why it's so popular. But nevertheless, if that helps you, then oh well. You're crushing candy or whatever you're crushing. You're not harming anybody, but you're finding some relief in it. It's like Super Mario or Mario, however you pronounce it. That game has been around for eons, and his character is a construction worker, a plumber. No, matter of fact, it's a carpenter and a plumber. So I kind of researched who created it, and it was a Japanese artist that created Super Mario. And so he went from a carpenter to a plumber, but nevertheless, you just think about that. A carpenter and a plumber in reality probably wouldn't look at themselves as a superhero, as a person that can defeat a big gorilla or whatever. And Mario, he defeats a lot in the game. So he saves the girl, from what I remember anyway. What if we all took on that mentality and we just went into a zone and picked out our little superhero that we believed ourselves to be, super mom, super dad, whatever you envision yourself to be. You think about Superman. He was a writer, newspaper writer that pretty much was looked at as a nerd. But then when trouble came about, he went in and got the courage and turned into Superman and had the sexy girls falling all over him, It's like, really, we all kind of have this alter ego, whether we realize it or not. I've always had different alter egos. I think I got too many. They're all good, though. When I tap into them, they're all for the good. Rather it be my creative side, my artist side, rather it be the writing side of me, rather it be the encouraging side of me, the compassion side of me. That is so many different. If I wanted to turn them into superheroes, I have so many capes to choose from in my closet. But it's all for the good. It's all to add to mankind in a great way. And I'm sure that even though you might not view yourself in that light, you are doing the same thing too from day to day. Rather it be you're just that type of mother that's just on point with your kids and making sure you pack their lunch every day, or, people think that something like that is small. We look at it like, okay, that's something that you should do anyway. But when you think about it, that's something that some people don't do for their kids. I mean, I can remember when I had my foster kids, and that was one of the things that was very important to them. One of the things that was important to them was that I ironed their clothes every morning. I can remember the middle one telling me, like, thank you for ironing our clothes for us every morning and making sure that you send us out here all nice and neat. And he shared with me how his mother would just make them go pick out their clothes. They would go to school, wrinkled. Sometimes their clothes would be dirty, So that meant a lot to him, to them. But it's just that he was the one that voiced it to me. And it was something that I just looked at as, I'm supposed to do this. But to him, in his eyes, I was somewhat of a superhero. I think I shared with you when I told you about the story of when I had my foster kids, how on Halloween, it was like their first time really getting real costumes. And, they were so excited for staying out for 2 hours going trick-or-treating, and the fact that I took them to get real costumes. I was a superhero to them, something so small that I viewed as small. I put it that way, but it's really not small to some people, I'm not really into the holiday thing like that, as far as, I'm not deep into that belief, but I do believe that when a kid wants to experience it, you should be willing to be open to let them experience it, and then let them draw their own experience from it for themselves. You just don't know the small things that you think. I'll say, let me reword that. The things that you think are small are very big to others. And you become a superhero to other people and you don't even know it. Especially if you're doing things from your heart. This is something that's natural to you to do, It's natural for you to go and give somebody a hug and ask them how they're doing. And this person probably never been hugged before. You're wearing a cape to them at that point. You're their superhero, and you don't even know it. If it's a natural thing for you to see someone on the street and they're begging for money, and you just drop some change into the little cup without judgment, without thinking to yourself, oh, this person is probably, they probably don't need this, or they need to go get a job or something like that. Just without judgment, just drop the money in, and then let them do what they're going to do with it. At least you did your good deed. At least you gave the money from a generous heart. And when you gave them that money, you wished them well. That person might have been a person that had a big job at one point and just had this domino effect happen and just couldn't find work and was pushed to those means to have to beg on the street. You never know anybody's story. We only can look and come from our own mindset as to what we think about that person. This is why it's so important not to judge people, because you really don't know people's story. Some people don't know how to go and get another job when they've been in a certain occupation for so many years, or they just never was taught from a kid that, you can have a plan B. You can try something different. A lot of us, especially as dreamers and visionaries, we put all our eggs in one basket, and it's like, if this doesn't work, then that's it. I'm not doing nothing else. We don't want to think outside the box and say, you know what, let me go back into my little superhero cave and put my cape back on and draw that within me that I know to get that strength up that courage back up, that confidence back up, that, you know what, this didn't work out. There's a reason why this didn't work out at this time in my life. And that's how you got to look at it and leave it. Because that situation could have just came to teach you a lesson or maybe sharpen your skills so that when you go on to the next thing, you can apply the thing that didn't work out the way you thought it was going to work out in a different way. And that's what happens. If you've been following this podcast, you know that I have set out to do many things, and I've learned from experience that some things don't work out exactly the way you want to at the time that you wanted to. And that's just life. But you can't get down about it. You have to go within and find that superhero and say, you know what? Okay, what's next? Because I am here on this earth for a reason, and I am here to conquer something. Whether it be I'm the person in my family that's the peacemaker. I'm super peacemaker. You know what I mean? I'm the one in the family that needs to go on to make everybody laugh when things are not right. All those things that you do to change someone's view on life, to change someone's thought, to put a smile on someone else's face, that's some superhero stuff, you know? But because we're not in the movies, we're not, getting superhero money, we don't want to look at ourselves in that way. Or sometimes some people think that, okay, that's being vain to look at yourself as a superhero. But no, sometimes it's good. It's good therapy for yourself, you know? Do you know that when you look at certain movies, and I always talk about this, listening to certain music and watching certain things, it changes different things in your brain patterns. It changes your emotions. And if you ever notice, if you watch a superhero movie, you're like amped up. You're excited, you're ready to do something to make a difference in the world. Now, depending if you are rooting for the superhero. Some of us root for the villain. Now, I don't know what that's about, but as I said in my description, I have no judgment. We all have our reasons for who we root for in the movie. A lot of times we could watch a movie, a superhero movie, and we can really envision that superhero as being ourselves. I know me, I love watching women superheroes. I love watching them kick people's butts, the bad guys anyway. I love that. And I always said, even as a young person, it's like, if I ever get a chance to play in a movie role, that's the role I want. I want to be the superhero girl that just saved the world, And in actuality, I truly believe when I go in to do this podcast show, that's the attitude that I take every time. Every time I come on to talk to you guys, I envision myself being this podcast superhero, this dream pusher that's making you, each time you listen to the show, helping you with those different topics, those different areas of your life to do better, so that you can go on to live out your dreams and your visions with a cape on your shoulder, feeling like you're flying through the air as these dreams and these visions turn into reality, with this big whatever mark on your chest, acknowledging who you are to the world. you know? That's how I come on the show. I come on with that type of energy. Even the last 2 shows, I had to put on my superhero cape to fight through my little detoxing moment. And y'all know I call it detoxing. I didn't want to give it no other negative name. And, I was going through. I was feeling all kinds of ways. But yet, I put on that superhero cape and I said, no, I'm going to fight through this. I am Adionne, the dream pusher, the lifeguard. I got to go out here and save these people from themselves and from some real bullshit. So I got to go on and do this show. That was my attitude. And I'm so glad that I take on that energy and I go within myself and I find that superhero within me when things are looking kind of grim. I push through. And that's what we have to do. Because at the end of the day, if you don't do it, who's going to do it? If you don't push through, who's going to do it for you? And if you constantly have people pushing through for you, how are you going to find your superhero powers to do it for yourself? You can't be this person that play a victim role all the time. Because when you play the victim all the time, a couple things can happen. One, people get tired of it. And then when you really, really need help, no one's there. Just like the boy that cried wolf too many times. And when he really needed help, no one came to help him. And then therefore, it was a problem for him, Also, when you play victim, you never know just how strong you really are. You never know your capabilities. You never know the fullness of who you really are, of who God created you to be. You will never discover that because you're so busy playing the victim. You're so busy saying, woe is me. Oh, my life is not good. Oh, my life is falling apart. It's going to continue to fall apart as long as that's what you continue to say. As long as that is what you continue to believe, you're going to get more of the same. You got to put on your superhero cape and fly through that shit. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not sitting up here saying that, if you're down, you're down. Like some situations, you break a leg or a certain thing comes on you, a certain sickness or disease comes on you. Yes, you got to work through it. But again, you have to go within and find that superhero within to cut through. Some things come on us to sit us down, to make us be quiet for a minute so that we can escape the noise and truly hear what God is trying to tell us, what our higher self is trying to communicate with us. So sometimes things come our way unexpectedly, rather be some type of loss, rather be a loss of a person, a job, a thing, something materialistic, something that we're forced to sit down and examine where we are in life. Sometimes those things come upon us just for that. But as long as we decide that, okay, this thing is on me, rather be sickness, rather be loss of anything. As long as we decide that we're not going to point the finger at anybody, even if somebody had something to do with it. But we're going to point the finger at ourselves and say, okay, where am I at with this? What is my place with this? What is it that I am supposed to learn from this? What is this lesson? Why is it here? And y'all know I talk a lot about this, and sometimes I have to repeat certain things in different shows because I know that everybody doesn't get a chance to listen to every show. So for those who might have missed the show that I talk about things of this nature, this is why I'm talking about it again. As I said, I always go by whatever my spirit decides to talk about. And I know that each show is directed to certain individuals. I don't know who those individuals are. I just know that each show is directed to certain individuals. So this is how I come. And so to those individuals that resonate with the show, you really need to examine why you're in whatever situation you are in right now, and not look at it, not be so hard on yourself. Even if you caused the position that you're in, don't be hard on yourself. If something just, you totally got sidetracked where things became overwhelming to you and you just lost track of life. You lost track of your responsibilities, whether it be your responsibilities with your job, with your kids, with your spouse. As long as you get to the point that you can sit down and say, wait a minute, whoa, something is totally out of balance here. Let me figure this out. Let me put on my superhero cape. I can do this. I can get things back on track. Because you can. Anything that gets off track took some time to get off track. So that means that you can get it back on track. You just don't be hard on yourself. We all get in those situations at one point or another in our life. And it all calls for us to just do some readjustments. It's all a growth spurt. We go through different levels at different times in our life. It's not even about because we're getting older. It's not even about that. It's just whatever our mission is in life, whatever our dreams, our visions, our goals call for, those things are going to come to us to correct certain things within us, I can remember years ago, my prayer used to be, God, give me more patience, give me more understanding with people and things. And trust me, when they say be careful what you pray for, it's the truth. Because while I was praying that, God was sending me all of these people with these issues. I mean, heavy issues. And I've shared in one of my shows about that. And I was in a position at that time in my life where I had a home that I can help people, to stay with me for a while until they was able to get on their feet. And each one of these individuals had some type of addiction that they was dealing with, whether it was drinking, cocaine, and just issues, And thank God I never had any type of addictions in my life, Although I've drank throughout my life, socially. When I was younger, I might have drank more than socially because I was just young and I was just in that whole party stage. I tried weed when I was young, but I never got addicted to anything. I thank God for that. I always put on my superhero cape and broke through all of that stuff. So I believe that when I started saying those prayers, I mean, I know now, I didn't know then. I was just like, what the heck is going on? Why is it that I keep having all these people come in my life that have these addictions, and I'm trying my best to motivate them, to encourage them. And I even had one person that I was going to the meetings with, the anonymous, the AA Anonymous. I don't know if it's AA Anonymous. I think she was kicking cocaine. So I don't know if they call it the same thing. But I was going to the meetings with her nevertheless. And people thought I was addicted. I'm like, no, I'm just here for support. But I can remember going through those, those things with the people. And at that time in my life, I actually had on my little superhero cape and didn't even know it, because I was their superhero, whether they said anything to me or not. But the fact that I took time out of my life and I didn't have to, and I was trying to help them out of their addiction, it didn't help them all out, like all at once. But I did get phone calls later on in life from a couple of them apologizing to me as to the things that they did when I was trying to help them out. And for me, that was enough. That meant to me that they acknowledged that they were in a certain addiction and they weren't in their right mind at that time, So that was big. That was big for them to even bite their pride and give me a call to apologize, And I had forgot about it. I had moved on at this time. But nevertheless, it allowed me to see that even though all of them didn't get to that point, the fact that a couple of them got to the point, I did my job. I did my little superhero job. Now, I'm not saying to you that you need to put your superhero cape on to go out here and try to save the world. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying put your superhero cape on to save you, to save that dream, that vision, that goal that you have been putting off for so many years. Find that confidence, find that strength within you to do what God put in you to do. That's all I'm saying, And I just wanted this show today to be something that was more uplifting. I know that the topics, when you look at them, some of them might seem grim. But as I said, this show is for everyday people living everyday life, doing everyday things. And these topics are real. This is real stuff that people go through. Like I said, this podcast could have been a podcast with a bunch of interviews. And in the beginning, I thought that's what it was going to be. I thought that's what I was supposed to do. But as I said, I just follow my spirit. And when it's time for an interview, that's when you'll hear an interview. But I don't want to go against the flow, And trust me, whenever there's an interview, it's going to be something that you can get out of it. It's not going to be the kind of interview just because, somebody might have made it and maybe might have the perfect life. Any interview that I do, the person has to be willing to talk about the struggles that they went through in life to get to where they are, even if they're not where they believe they should be. That is the purpose of this show, is talking about everything we go through in life from day to day to get through. And not just to get through and not just to get by, but to get to a point in our life where we know that it's okay. That it's okay that life might not go our way perfectly every day. But to focus on those days that goes so smoothly, that goes so perfectly. Because see, when you start honoring those days, guess what? You're going to have more of those type of days that's going to follow. The thing that we focus on the most is the thing that we get more of, whether it's good or bad. Understand that. Once you understand that, you'll learn how to shift your focus on things that make you feel good, things that bring you joy, bring you happiness. That's what you want to focus on. This is why you need to go within and find out your superhero. Get a book, get your pencil, your ink pen, and write down your superhero attributes. Why don't you do that? Write down the things that bring you joy when you're doing it. Bring other people joy when you're doing it for them. Those are your superhero attributes. Well, you know what I'm trying to say. Y'all know I be messing up some words. But I'm real. I'm a real person. So, hey. But I want you to do that. When this show is over, write down the things that you are great at. The things that make you smile when you do them. The things that make other people smile. And do not take anything that you do as a small thing. Everything that you do is big. I don't care if other people look at it as small. Sometimes the things that they look at as small, they can't even do. I can remember when I was young and I was on, different sports team, track and basketball. My cousin, she was slimmer than me, and she still is skinny as a rail in a good way, in a healthy way. But she never gained weight. Even when she was pregnant, her stomach went right down. And she couldn't even do one sit-up. She probably still can't to this day. But she couldn't do a sit-up and push-up. And we used to laugh about it. I'd be like, come on, you could just do one. And she would be struggling. So that's what I'm saying about, I was able to do those things. I was able to do push-ups and sit-ups. And so some people that's athletic might look at that as, oh, this is easy. This is a small thing. But no, that's a big thing. Some people just physically can't do those things. And I'm not going to say can't, because remember, we're trying to work on the verbiage. But some people don't know how to push their mentality to believe that they can do a push-up or a sit-up. And that's where, again, those same people have to kick in to their little superhero powers. Because we can all do anything we want to do. We really can. We might do it in a different way, even if we have different physical, say, disabilities. We might run in a different way. We might lift something in a different way, but we can do it. It's all about how we fix our mentality, how we believe in our head and our mindset, how much we view ourselves to be the superhero that we are, because we are, all of us. We have superhero powers in different ways. Understand that. We really do. So I'm going to leave y'all with that encouragement. And know we all are superheroes. We just got to give our little superheroes a name. I'm your dream pusher. I'm your lifeguard. That's my superhero person for right now. In this, I say that in this time of my life. But Please, make it fun. Do this activity for yourself, and you will learn how to embrace yourself, learn how to enjoy you. Even if right now you're in a place of your life that you feel that everything is just not going your way, I guarantee you, if you just empty your mind, clear your thoughts, and do this activity, write down the things that you are naturally good at. Write down the things that bring a smile to your face. Write down the things that bring a smile to other people's face. Find your superhero powers and put it together to create the thing that God put you here to do. Figure out how those things can connect to your dreams, your visions, and your goals. And move on to the next level. That's what it's all about. Figuring out the connection. You know, we all seem like we all are this big walking puzzle that we have to figure out to put together, and a lot of other people are trying to figure out how to put us together. But it's not their job to figure it out. It's our job to figure it out. So go ahead. Do this activity. And I'm going to go right now, but I just want to thank everybody for checking on me when I was going through my little detox. And thank you all for continuing to support the show, even though I have not promoted it for these last 3 shows. But I thank you for coming back and checking and downloading and playing. It all gives me encouragement and motivation to keep going, you know. And I just thank y'all. I just love y'all so much. Again, you can catch the show on other platforms: iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Player FM. There's so many. Just Google Chronicles of Living Podcast, and you will see, because some platforms you might like better than the other ones. And definitely download the app for you Android users. Go to the Google Play Store, download Chronicles of Living Podcast. And yes, until Wednesday, my mom said, I got to stop saying Wednesday. That's my slang, okay? Wednesday, until Wednesday, okay? I will talk to y'all then. This is Adionne, your dream pusher, your lifeguard, saving you from the world, saving you from yourself, saving you from drowning in some real bullshit. And this is Chronicles of Living podcast show. The show for everyday people doing everyday things, living everyday life. You know us normal folks. Go out there, y'all. Find the superhero within you and do the damn thing. I love you guys. Peace.
Thank you for listening to Chronicles of Living, where we talk to everyday people about everyday things in the past, present, and future. And if you are pursuing your dreams, I'm proud of you. Because the best part of life is when you decide to live. To keep up with us, please visit chronicles-of-livin-podcast. Until next time, this is Adionne, your dream pusher. I love you guys.